Hey guys, Charles Damiano here from the Bruce Lee Collection for another fun episode. Today I'm over the house of Jimmy O'Connor. Thank you for inviting us over to your man cave here.
Welcome, brothers.
Sitting in his Bruce Lee horror...
Where?
Where? It's filled to the gill with Bruce Lee horror and everything Jimmy collected as a kid. I also have Luis Cotto here, another Bruce Lee collector. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you.
And of course, Edgar Betancourt,
Charlie!
another Bruce Lee collector. And we thought we'd do a nice tribute to Chuck Norris because just recently, a few days ago, we lost another legend, Carlos Ray Norris. Do you remember that was his name?
I didn't know that was his...
Carlos Ray Norris.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Look at that.
That was his birth name?
That was his birth name, yes. And they changed it. He changed it to Chuck Norris during his film career. And we're going to review today a few of Chuck's films in honor of Chuck Norris. First, we'd like to send our condolences out to the Chuck Norris family. And during this hard time, I know how hard it is. And we're going to kind of take you guys down memory lane with us, remembering all the great films that Chuck put out during the 80s and 90s. And I think you guys will find this very memorable at this time. So Luis was kind enough to bring over a portion of his Chuck Norris collection on DVD and VHS with us, because I know you have how many VHS and DVDs in your collection?
Over 1,000 on VHS, and I have about 8,200 DVDs.
Wow, of all the different genres that he enjoys watching, and a portion of that was Chuck Norris thing. So no better than Luis to bring some of these over with us. And why don't we start going down memory lane with Chuck's first film appearance. Do you remember what that was?
I think so.
I think which one was that, Luis? First, the one that he did with Bruce was what?
Was Return of the Dragon.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's start with that one.
Return of the Dragon was this one here.
Yep.
And it's the famous battle that they had together, which was back in 1972, when the movie was filmed.
And you have it on both DVD, right?
And VHS.
And VHS.
Yeah.
And this, in my opinion, started it out for Chuck Norris, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, well, for him as a star, he started in '68 actually with the Mad Helm and the Wrecking Crew.
That's true.
Right.
But probably didn't have a speaking part or anything like that. He was just one of these guys or thugs, maybe got beat up or something like that. But that's as far as he goes. And I think there's, if I'm not, I don't know if I'm talking out of line, but I think Bruce Lee might have been technical advisor.
He was
on the Wrecking Crew.
Yes,
he was.
So there's the connection with Chuck Norris right there.
Yeah,
true.
You know, so that's where that's probably starts there, or maybe around that time.
Right. Yep. And then,
and there.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
There you go.
And then a nice fun fact about this film is that, you know, Chuck wasn't supposed to be the main
That's correct.
opponent that he fights at the end. He gave the role first to Joe Louis.
Joe Louis.
And I was talking to Jimmy about this, and because Joe Louis's you know, arrogant attitude at the time was, you know, well, no one's going to believe that you're going to beat the world champion, Bruce. You know, I'm not going to die in the film. Right. So he moved on to Chuck, and because Joe Louis didn't want to do the Return of the Dragon with him, right? And would have lost for Joe Louis.
Yes. What a mistake that was.
Did he regret that?
Oh man,
he did.
He did regret it after. Yeah,
I'm sure he did.
Sure.
Stupid move.
Oh man, so then he used Chuck Norris, and Chuck was honored to be in the film, and I thought it was a perfect role for Chuck to, you know, and I think what we remember most about this film is the final battle between Bruce and Chuck Norris. And in my eyes, and I want to hear what you guys think, to me I think it was the best one-on-one fight scene ever recorded on film in the Roman Colosseum, like two gladiators, over 10 minutes long.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right, beginning
it's amazing.
with the warm-up of two gladiators, Chuck showing his style in karate, and then Bruce showing his, you know, JKD style, and you could see the different styles, and then you're just waiting for them to square off.
And the great thing about that fight is the way Bruce was fighting, you know, in the beginning portion of the fight, and then he adapts to it and changes his
style,
so to speak.
Because Chuck was beating him in the beginning,
and Bruce was fighting kind of rigid, and then he loosened up,
Ali style.
Yes, he starts doing that.
He started doing the shuffle.
Yes. So
it's amazing.
That was what I remember most about that, and was Chuck's role in that. And I think from that, I mean, look what it did to Chuck's career. Right? I mean, I remember me in the 80s, the reason I saw the Chuck Norris films at that time was because he played in Return of the Dragon with Bruce Lee, and now I wanted to see what was going to go on with Chuck Norris.
Right.
So
with the passing of Bruce Lee, there was a craving for another martial arts superstar.
Oh yeah.
And who is that person going to be?
A big void.
Who was it? Jackie Chan came out, and Chuck Norris, and there was another
Seagal for a while.
Well, Seagal came a little later.
Right.
Jean-Claude came a little later.
Yeah.
But there was a craving for an artist. You know, who is the next martial artist?
Michael Dudikoff for a little while was doing his thing.
But Chuck was one of the bigger ones at that time. And then all the Bruceploitation guys came out, the clones, Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee. But everyone wanted to see Chuck Norris. So what's this next film in the filmology of Chuck Norris that you brought here?
Well, one of the other movies that he did where he started playing a hero was Breaker Breaker, where he was a truck driver.
Yep.
And I think his little brother got into trouble, and he came to the rescue and wound up having to fight off the sheriff and the people in the town.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to see him as a hero for the first time, and then to see his Tansudo moves, the way he was fighting with the gentleman and with the horses that was running around in slow motion. You got to see exactly what that style was all about. So that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was a cool one. You remember Breaker Breaker? Yeah. How about you, Edgar? You remember that one?
I don't recall. But I might have seen it. I don't remember.
Yeah, I didn't see all the Chuck Norris movies either myself, but I remember certain ones, and I remember the ones that were my favorite. And I'm looking forward to seeing which ones were your favorite. But was this the first movie he made, Breaker Breaker?
No, it was something Slaughter in San Francisco.
Slaughter in San Francisco.
Where he played an evil villain.
Yeah.
But again, he managed to show his style in that motion picture, and he was fighting off some of the Chinese heroes in the movie.
Yes.
And then he moved on to Breaker Breaker.
And I remember this one. What's this one now?
This one, Good Guys Wear Black. It was like
that's the one I remember.
He was pretty much working. It was like political. It had to do with politics.
Yes.
But this is an iconic scene. I don't know if you could see it, where he's jumping through the car window. I mean, that's the first time I ever saw anything of that nature being done. And I think it was pretty amazing to see him play this role.
I remember running to the movies to see that.
I did too. I remember that too. You remember this one too, right?
The strangest thing about that movie was, if you watch it from beginning to end, I think he had the same pair of pants and shirt and
through the whole movie.
I didn't even notice that.
Through the whole film,
Wow.
I believe.
I did not notice that.
Clothes.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Yeah, this was a pretty good one. Good Guys Wear Black. So that was the one I remember a lot. And then, what do you want to move on to? This one?
A Force of One.
Now,
where he fights Bill Wallace.
That's my favorite.
Is that your favorite?
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites as well.
It's an amazing movie because now you got Superfoot Wallace in the movie, which was his first motion picture acting.
And he didn't do a bad acting job.
No, he did not.
Somebody
He
that's
was
not an
pretty
actor.
scary.
Yeah.
He was scary,
You know?
He had crazy eyes.
Yes.
And to see them both battle it off, especially the final fight scene between the two of them. Yeah. I was in the theater, at the edge of my seat watching this movie. Yeah. And I couldn't wait to see the next Chuck Norris movie.
Yeah, I know. This was a good one. Force of One was good, and everyone likes the ring fights that took place.
Yeah.
And this was the first time you saw ring fighting, and they were all professional karate people at the time.
They were,
Chuck put in this movie, so it was kind of really fun seeing that.
Yes.
Those martial artists
I was so
fight in the ring.
attracted by the ad itself when it was coming out. Of him in the lotus position and everything. I'm like, what is this? What is this? A Force of One. This is it. This is the movie.
Yeah, this was one of my favorites. Sounds like it was one of your favorites as well.
Yeah, like you said about Bill Superfoot Wallace.
Yeah, man.
That scene with that poor kid that he had the adopted son. That unfortunately he kills. And that look that he had on his face, he's wearing like those overalls. With no shirt on.
Exactly.
And he just looked like
he was just scary.
A lunatic on that,
Yeah, that was a good one.
And I was waiting to see the Bill Superfoot Wallace kicks.
Oh, you had to. Yeah, that's what he was known for.
Did he do the split in the beginning?
Yeah, he does.
He did the split when he was coming. When he got into the ring. That leg split was awesome.
Classic. That's classic. Yeah. Well, I knew that would be a favorite of all of ours.
One more question. Were they in the same weight class in real life?
No.
No. Right.
Bill Wallace was
heavier.
He was taller and heavier.
Than Chuck Norris was.
Yeah. But they both look great. On the film, it looked great.
Yeah, that was great. So, guys, let us hear from you. What are some of your favorite Chuck Norris movies that you saw as a kid as we take you down memory lane. Write it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. You'll hear a few of ours as we continue to go through this list here. So now, this was another great one. What's that one?
Octagon that came out right after he did Force of One. And then you can't get any better. But this movie here has so many different style fightings in it, and it had to do with ninjas attacking people in San Francisco, I believe it was. And Chuck Norris winds up having to save someone in the movie. I forgot who it was that he had to save it at the Octagon. And you start seeing all these different fighting styles happening. Yeah. So you get to see Chuck Norris actually really showing you his complete style of Tansudo and karate and Shotokan. There was a good demonstration of all of that. This is a great action-packed movie.
It really is. This is one of my favorites as well. How about you, James? You like this one?
Yeah, it's a classic.
That was the first one that I felt like, oh, there's a budget.
Yeah.
It's finally a budget now. Going into the film.
His movies were getting better as they went along.
Lee Van Cleef was also in that.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, this was a great one. This was, before the Van Damme times, right? When Van Damme, I heard, went to Chuck Norris to try to help him break into the movies at that time. He was one of the first people he spoke to. This was even pre-Bloodsport, so
definitely.
to come out with the whole concept of the Octagon and showing the different styles of the fighters at that time was really great.
Yeah.
So Chuck did a great job with that. I love this movie.
And Van Damme used to work out with him. They used to spar together all the time.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah.
So what's his next one?
The next one is Eye for an Eye, and this one has pretty much an all-star cast in it. What's the name of the gentleman who played Shaft?
Richard
Roundtree is in it. He plays the cop. And there's a lot of humor in it.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of the Chinese guy, but he's in there. He's a psychic, and it's really action packed. There's a lot of fighting in that, and a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah.
But I love the slow motion scenes in this too.
Yeah, that's a great one. An Eye for an Eye. I don't really remember this one that much. I don't know if it was one of the ones I've seen. How about you? You remember that one?
Vaguely, yeah.
Vaguely, yeah.
I've seen it, but
Yeah, look at Chuck.
This is before his mustache.
Yeah, before the mustache came out. Yeah, I think his acting and style and his martial arts style kind of progressed as he went along. Because I thought in the beginning he was rather stiff and robotic in the early films. Yeah. And you always compare him to Bruce Lee, right? No one really to this day fought like Bruce Lee, but Chuck got better, I think, as he went along.
I think so too. I think so too.
In his films. So this is one of my favorites. What's this one?
Yeah, this is one of my favorites too. I don't know if you've noticed, but in this particular movie where he has to fight off a person that won't die.
Yes.
In the movie.
Remember that?
Some of it, as you're watching certain scenes, there's no music.
It's so intense.
And it's intense because you're hearing the ruffles in the closet, the footsteps going up and down.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this guy just comes out of nowhere. And whatever Chuck Norris does, he cannot put this guy down.
Yeah, Silent Rage, right?
It's kind of like an action-packed thriller.
It reminded me of him fighting Michael Myers, where you can't kill the guy in Halloween, right? Because the guy was psycho and he couldn't put him down.
No.
Yeah, that was I love the storyline on this one.
Chuck this is the first time he starts wearing like the cowboy hat, where it starts leading towards the epic
Midwest
Texas Ranger
type of personality and everything.
Yeah, he had that personality. You're right. Yeah, this was one of my favorites as well. Was this one of your favorites, guys? Leave it in the comment. A Silent Rage, one of my favorites. Wow, that's a great one. And now, what's this next one?
This one's a combination of 3 different movies. We have The Code of Silence, which was a very good action-packed movie in Chicago where he played a police and there was corruption. So he was dealing with that. Firewalker was not really one of my favorites because this is his first time trying out comedy.
Ah, okay.
And this action-packed thriller with Luke Gossett. Yes, correct. And of course, Long Wolf McQuade was the one that really led into his leading towards Walker, Texas Ranger. Because it was all pretty much in a western area where they filmed it, and there was a lot of action-packed scenes, good storylines. So we have a 3-pack here where each movie is good. Plenty of fighting, plenty of action.
You remember any of those?
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember all of them.
Code of Silence, the Chicago troupe, a film crew, troupe over there. If you look at Above the Law. And the movie The Fugitive with Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
You look at those background people in the movie, They're all in these
Chuck's movies. Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Isn't that
really?
funny?
It's like, I think that a couple of them might have been ex-cops.
Okay.
That were part of the backdrop of those films. And you'll see them. They're all in the. Anytime it's in Chicago, they had these same actors.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. Chuck really made a good career for himself, man. He played a lot of movies. Look, another three-pack here.
Yeah.
I like some of these. The Missing in Action movies.
Missing in Action movies in 85, 86, and 89. He did all three.
Yeah.
This is basically kind of like
Rambo.
Like a Rambo
like a
type.
Rambo style.
And it's funny because this one was when Rambo first came out.
Yeah.
This one came out within that same year.
They all came out after.
Right? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Then Commando probably came out.
The one-man army.
Commando,
Yeah, but all of them are really action-packed, and they're pretty much the hero type, you know, and fighting wars and stuff like that. But this trilogy pretty put him in a position where everyone really enjoyed watching.
Things
Chuck
blow
Norris.
up.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, these war movies I think that he did were really good.
Yeah.
I liked all the Mission in Action movies that he did. Again, another one of my favorites. Let's hear from you what your favorites were. I put this high on the list of Mission in Action movies. If you haven't seen these, you got to see these from Chuck Norris.
Yes.
Some of my favorites. Oh, and another one, Delta Force. Another one I liked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another trilogy. Well, this one is actually two. It's Delta Force and Delta Force 2.
2.
Yeah, and this is basically them being what kind of soldiers?
Mercenaries, maybe. Oh no, they were special forces.
Yes, that were being sent.
Doing underground missions and things
Kind of like the
that.
Expendables before the
Expendables. Yeah.
Were they Army Delta, probably?
Yes.
Army Delta, yeah.
And this one has the one that we already talked about. Code of Silence is on this one also as well.
Oh, okay. And Lee Marvin is in there.
Lee Marvin, yes, in the first one.
So.
That was
that's
cool.
a great one. He played with a lot of big actors at the time, Chuck Norris, man.
did.
He was up and coming, and they were putting some good actors in his films with him.
I was surprised that Lee Marvin was still actually doing those movies.
Yeah.
You know, because he had done The Dirty Dozen.
Yes.
Which is a film classic.
Oh, man, I love that
That's
one.
a classic.
That is a classic.
And when he had done this, that was probably around the tail end of his career.
Yes.
Because he was getting older, obviously, but they just needed more marquee value in there.
And Chuck was just coming up. Yeah. All right, what's this one? Cutter. I don't think I've seen that one.
Cutter,
The Cutter it's called?
It's The Cutter.
Wow,
and it's about him being like a private eye, and he's kind of like a has-been. He's an alcoholic, and someone hires him to do a job, and then he winds up having to protect this young lady, and then he winds up fighting, I can't remember this gentleman's name, I don't know if it's up here, Daniel Betancourt. Daniel Betancourt he continued playing all the Bloodsport movies after Van Damme did the first one.
Okay.
So, and then all of a sudden now, all the movies that he does now, he plays villains.
Okay.
And so here he's a villain, and Chuck Norris has an excellent fight scene with him at the end of the movie.
Wow, nice. So that you like this one?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Because that was in 2006. He was already going up in age, but he still looked good, man.
Yeah. Who remembers Cutter, guys? Leave it in the comments if you've seen this one. I haven't seen this one. This is one I have to watch this one. Yeah. Cutter. Wow. All right, and then what do you have next here, man?
In between the Delta Force and Cutter is when he started doing the Texas Ranger, Walker Texas Ranger. And he did this from 1991 up in 2001. And he did 8 seasons.
Yeah, it was a lot of seasons,
and there was a lot of stars and actors, you know, a lot of Chinese actors, a lot of American actors that came to participate in his series. And that kind of like boosted them to do other things.
Absolutely.
From his series.
Yeah, started with Chuck. Yeah, absolutely. I remember this, you know, Texas Ranger Walker. Yeah. This was a big TV series at the time, man.
Yes, it was.
Everyone was watching this.
Yeah, Aaron Norris was his stuntman in a lot of the stunts. His brother.
And co-producer right on this.
Co-producer also, and he did some of the fight scenes that Chuck couldn't do, certain jumps and splits.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, did you remember this one?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Who didn't watch Texas Ranger Walker? Yeah, I love this. Great TV series. So now he was switching from movies, right? And he was getting a little bit more into TV.
Yes, he was.
At this first time in his career as he was getting older, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That probably was the best thing for him.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everyone's career, he started in the 80s, then by the 90s it was kind of fizzling out a little bit. Yeah. And, you know, other action stars were coming up like Jean-Claude Van Damme and, like we said, Seagal and Jet Li and all those other ones were hitting the scene at that time. And he kind of made a maneuver into TV, which was kind of great.
Well, the Lone Wolf McQuade kind of was just the thing I felt that kind of like put him.
I believe so. I believe that to be true.
Brought him to the kind of modern cowboy. You know, I mean, didn't need the gun really, but you know, that he was out for truth and justice.
Yeah. Great one, great one. So this one, Chuck Norris, Fists of Steel. What's this all about?
In
That's a tin box set there.
2010, 2011, and 12, he did a 3-part series of The President's Man, where he was a private. Every time the president had a job, he would go to him. Yeah. And he would be the only one that could handle the job.
That's so he did 3
different movies. Wow. Yeah. And The President's Man was something that he enjoyed doing. I think he was in control of it. Wow. I think he's the one that put up the money for it.
I didn't see any of these. Did you see these? I've never seen any of these.
Yeah. This was something that some of the people from Texas Ranger at the very end of the series, they wound up joining him into the motion pictures that he was doing.
Wow, so, Chuck Norris kickstarted a lot of careers, just like Bruce kickstarted Chuck's career, and he started kickstarting a lot of careers for others. Wow. What was the movie that he made? I didn't see it, but I saw him on a talk show on YouTube the other day, and he was talking about this feel-good movie that's a family movie for kids, and it was
Sidekicks.
Sidekicks. I haven't seen that one. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, Sidekicks is a great movie. It's a good family movie.
That's what I heard.
I don't know if you ever saw a movie called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. With Danny Kaye, and he would daydream and he would wish all these things. Well, this young boy is like daydreams of always wanting to be the sidekick to Chuck Norris.
Oh wow!
So the Hitman and the Ninja movie of the Octagon. All of a sudden, there's scenes where the boy is with Chuck Norris fighting, saving the same damsel in distress.
Nice.
But yet at school, everyone is bullying him in real life. And then finally he winds up entering a competition, and Chuck Norris is there as a judge, and he says, why don't you and I join together and we kick butts?
Oh, nice.
And so the kid is like, oh my God, I got Chuck Norris on my side.
Yeah.
I heard movie you had, I think it was No Retreat, No Surrender, I think. Jean-Claude.
Yes.
Where Bruce Lee in the attic.
Oh,
yeah.
He was
same concept, right?
Yeah, and then Bruce Lee would be in the attic training him.
Yes.
You know?
He would appear to the kid.
That was a Vietnamese actor who played Bruce Lee for the role. And he spoke Vietnamese, and then they added the English into it.
Yeah, that was a fun movie.
I had that. That's a great
movie. I think that's the first time I saw Jean-Claude on screen.
Yeah.
That was the first time he appeared on screen.
Was that the actor that was in Game of Death 2?
Game of Death, yes, the same. Yes, that is the same.
Kim Tai Chung.
Yes,
that's him. Yes.
That's good that you remember the name, because I couldn't remember the name.
That was a good one. Yeah, I heard Sidekicks. No one wanted to kind of produce it for Chuck because they didn't want to take a chance of him going from action movies to this feel-good family movie for kids.
It's fantastic.
And he had to get it, I heard online, independently financed for like $38 million, and somebody took a chance on his idea, and so he was really nervous about how well it was going to do with the box office because he switched gears to do that movie.
Well, if you notice, like back in that time, Stallone had done comedy, Schwarzenegger with Kindergarten Cop, and they were kind of saying to themselves, well, maybe if I try this and I can kind of like get, like you said, a different audience, and then they can probably research back and say, oh, what other films had this guy been in? These kind of tough guys trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Well, he wound up doing the Kickstart, which was for kids that couldn't afford to do karate, and he would have them come to the school. So Sidekicks kind of like promoted that.
Oh, that's very good.
And then it just blew up after that for him to teach children how to fight martial arts.
Yeah, no, that was great. And then this last one here you have here. This is classic.
The Expendables
2. And Stallone put him in there, right, in a small part.
He's in a very small corner back here, but he really didn't want to do it. And then his granddaughter said to him, "Oh, Grandpa, please, just do this. I would love to see you with Sylvester Stallone," because Sylvester Stallone reached out to him, and he said, "Fine, but I don't want any big parts, just give me a small part in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he added them in. But there's a scene in there where Sylvester Stallone questions Chuck, where he says,
what was that
I
scene?
thought you were no longer...
He says, is it true you got bit by a king cobra? And Chuck says, yeah, and after 5 days of excruciating pain, the cobra died.
That was a classic line.
I love that. I love that.
That's when all those memes were coming up about Chuck, right? That he could beat anyone.
Yeah,
and they were doing all those.
His name became synonymous with being a badass.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
like,
true.
Oh man, that was a classic line in there. That was so funny.
And then I don't have it, but the last movie that he did was, what was it titled?
Agent Recon.
Agent Recon. And he played a robot for like 15 minutes.
oh yeah, I didn't know
a
that.
cyborg
Okay.
in it. I purchased it. I liked only watching him and his scene.
Yeah.
But the movie in general, I wasn't too
Disappointed?
keen. Yeah.
Ah, got you,
Okay.
got you. Well, this was great, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this trip down memory lane, starting with Chuck's first movie of Return of the Dragon. Overseas, it came out as Way of the Dragon, which was Chuck's big break. You know, Chuck's going to be greatly missed, but never forgotten. As we take you down memory lane today, we'll always have these great films to watch on Chuck. And again, I'm glad we did this little tribute to him. He's well deserving of it, and he was a big part of all our childhood as growing up as kids. And I know he was a big part of yours. I've been reading a lot of the comments that you sent me from the post I put out, you know, honoring Chuck Norris. And yeah, I'm gonna end today by putting together a little tribute at the end of this. So watch the last 2 minutes of this, and we're gonna do a little tribute remembering Chuck Norris. So until then, you guys, as always, have fun collecting, and we'll see you guys next time.
And if you look on Prime, you'll have 16 movies of Chuck Norris playing right now on Prime.
There we go.
Oh wow,
Okay.
I didn't know. You really? Yeah, cool.
So enjoy the tribute, guys.
Cool.